Namaste. Welcome, yogis. Mary Jane Casliner. So today I'm preparing a short video. It's going to be a variation of Surya Namaskar A, and I'm infusing a few hand mudras. So we're only going to take 9 rounds here, and let me explain or expound on what and why we're doing this. So we just moved into the summer solstice, and the reason why we're using 9 is because from a feng shui perspective, the trigram of Li, which is the Lo Shu number of 9, is accented at this time of the year. And so Li, the trigram, represents the element of fire. And fire, if we look at that from a macrocosmic perspective, it relates to the sun. And at the summer solstice actually meaning still sun, it's an illusion because at this time of the year, the sun appears to be still for 2 reasons. Number 1, it reaches its highest point in the sky. And number 2, the Earth axis tilts as far as it possibly can towards the sun. So there's an illusion of sun still. Fire being the most powerful out of the 5 elements in feng shui, and it really represents transformational energy. On a microcosmic level, it relates to the 3rd chakra, Manipura, and it relates to the fire within, the city of jewels. So I'll talk about that more in just a moment. In feng shui, the trigram, tri meaning 3 lines representing the top line or the dome of heaven. The middle line represents man, the person, and the bottom or the lower line represents the earth. So literally, we stand between the 2 polar opposites, the dome of heaven and the stability of the earth. And so on our journey, we literally are walking the earthly plane to rediscover and remember our soul, to move it along its path. So the walking on our earthly journey represents the karmic cycles we go through. And they really relate to the lower 3 chakras. And that's where there's a tendency where we can have frustrations that arise during our earthly journey. Like, can I support myself? Very much of the root base, Muladhara. How do I find joy or procreate? Very much the navel, Svadhisthana. How can I find my inner power? Very much Manipura chakra. And Manipura chakra becomes this real important dynamic because the downward facing triangle, that base here, if it becomes overly rigid, then we remain in the lower aspects in that earthly realm where we constantly feel like we're pushing against the ocean tide. So their struggles always seem to come up, even maybe repeat themselves, because we get very trapped in more of the ahamkara or the ego self, or it's more about me, my, what's in it for me, power for me, no matter what I'm going to do. So that's kind of aggressive. When we begin to really tap into the jewels there and tap into that inner light to move beyond the self, we soften the base of that downward triangle, and there's an opening or infusion into the gateway or the door opening through the heart, Anihata, which gives us that ability to move upwards into the higher vibrational frequencies of the upper chakras. Anihata moving into Vishuddha and Anjana and Shishashada. And so going back to the trigram Li, it literally points to the south, our highest point, high noon, highest point of the sun, summer solstice, clarity, vision, it's bright, right? So we see things for what they really are. And we move from our karmic path into our dharmic path. So that's truly moving the soul forward. And this is where you kind of feel like, oh, this isn't work anymore, right? Your job isn't a job anymore. So this is the idea of what's going on here and why that trigram is so important this time of the year. and the number equivalent to it is the number 9. So hence we're going to do 9 sun salutations with these variation hand mudras in them. And I would tell you to do this as many times as you'd like during the entire summer. So it's a great way to move upward onto your path, okay? So here in Sukhasana, we know this pose, Sukha meaning ease, and we know every time I begin yoga practices, usually it's in Sukhasana, so we begin to align the body so the prana can flow freely, especially through the main channel, the Sushumna Nadi, and it can then move outwards, upwards, all directions, okay? When the body is able to be free in its alignment and prana fueling it, then the mind, or the Manomaya Kosha into the Vijnanamaya Kosha, can become a little softer, right? And so we move past the illusion, right? So in this pose of Sukhasana, the first hand mudra would be, it's going to be an offering of the lotus. So we're going to take the left arm and we're going to bring it basically at the base of the Manipura downward facing triangle as a reminder to open it and soften it so it can open through the gateway of the heart. And the right arm, we're just going to bend at the elbow and open up, flower out those fingers there. So that would represent the lotus blooming. And remember that the lotus grows out of the murkiest waters of mud. So it's all the mud we've got to go through, right? And then it rises up. So think of the stem going through the Sushumna, yeah? And then we have this blossoming, right, into the light of the sun. So the petals, 1,000 petal lotus of Shushusha, it opens up the Om vibration. And so here, the mantra might be something like, may I manifest the highest form of my being. And maybe you'll repeat that 9 times before we begin the sun salutations, okay? So you'll stay in this as long as you'd like, maybe closing the eyes and just repeating that mantra. And then once you have completed that, maybe you'll open with a vibration of Om. So let's go ahead and do that. Deep breath in. Beautiful chirping bird. So then make your way up to the top of your mat. Now, what I'm going to do is the first 2 rounds, I'm going to go slow and I'm going to point to some of the hand mudras we're going to put in here for this variation. And then the last 7 rounds, I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to flow with my breath and you can follow. But this way you'll have it and you can do this anytime you'd like, as many times as you like throughout the whole summer, okay? So as we begin at the top of our mat here, right, in our mountain pose, finding our alignment, opening up, bridging, collarbones opening, we're going to come into what we call that prosperity of Lakshmi. So we're going to take the right knee behind the left, and then we'll sweep the arms up, bring the right arm overhead, and the left, reaching towards your left. You're going to take your Gaya Mudra, so your Om, right? And as you stretch over to the left, I'm just going to come out of this here, you're going to feel the right side body opening up. So truly what's opening here is the psoas muscle. And the psoas muscle is this huge muscle that connects your spine to your legs. So the spine, right, is our powerful source of the Sushumna Nadi, the main channel, right? And our legs literally remind us of our walk, the earthly journey. So what gets stuck here, because of course the hip is connected all through here, the impressions, the samskaras would hold us back, the lower bridge here, right? The murky waters where that lotus is rooting and growing out from. So here it is. So we've got the Om, right, all knowing, all potential, to vibrate through the psoas. And then we'll sweep it around, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, you forward fold, Uttanasana for a surrender. We're going to inhale the right leg back. Surrender the right knee, top of the right foot for your Anjali Asana. And we're going to come into our next hand mudra, Pushpa Pura. And so we're going to raise it up. And what we're asking here for is a washing through the spirit, the energy above, to wash through the eyes and the mind for clarity, to wash away the illusion. Prayer through the heart, step back to plank, your version of Chaturanga. Rise up, let the heart pull through. We want to open that gateway. And then exhale, the hips come up out of the dark into the light. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread it out. Inhale, the right leg will rise. Lift your gaze. Exhale, step it through. Mindfully, the left side releases into the earth. Come back to the washing of the spirit through the eyes and the mind for purity. Exhale, prayer into the heart. Surrender, left foot joins the right. Half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And bow it into surrender. The crown is heavy. Reverse the swan, carry the prana up. And exhale the prayer into the heart. Lifting the right knee upwards. Either hold the knee or maybe a yoga tola. The left hand's coming into Brahmara hand mudra. So the index finger, the nail bed of it, engages into the base of the left thumb. And then take the middle finger and connect it to the thumb. And then sweep it overhead. Option to extend the right leg out into the universe. This is for power and strength. And then surrender prayer comes back in and open it up, full attention. So we're going to repeat that on the left side and then we're just going to flow. Okay? So here we come into that Lakshma with the Om, left psoas, opening left side body, right? Go through those samskaras, push them out and away. Sweep it back around, Urdhva. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, left leg back, surrender, Pushpa Pura. Wash through the eyes and the mind. Prayer to the heart. Step it back, plank through Chaturanga. Rise, pull the heart open the gate so you can soften all the way up to the crown. Light through the hips. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, raise your gaze with the left leg, send the left foot through, surrender. Pushpa Pura. For our heart. Right foot to the left. Ardha Uttanasana. Bowing. Reverse. Prayer. Left knee rises. Come into the mudra, Baramara. Perhaps extend for power and strength. Release prayer. And open. It's a total of 9. You can come back to your easy pose of Sukhasana. You can shift the opposite leg in front. So whatever leg you had before, just switch it to the opposite. And then this time bring your right forearm, base of Manipura chakra, and then the left is going to open up to the flowering lotus. You can come back to your mantra that you may manifest to your highest being, or whatever your mantra would be for that day. Bring the prayer back over the heart, and we'll seal the practice with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Om.